Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Z33 here, back with a brand new video. It's good afternoon, it's about 12 o'clock noon here where I live. And day 2 round 1 has already started, but yesterday we were treated to an excellent round 1 where just about everyone's bracket in America was busted. In fact, after the end of round 1, there was less than 0.0001% brackets remaining, and that there is roughly around 700 remaining perfect brackets on the first day. Let's go ahead and look what made the first day, the first round, so incredible. Okay, so the very first game, very close one, West Virginia versus Maryland. I personally have West Virginia in this one. I thought they were the better team, but their defensive abilities would have carried them in this game. And in fact, they were up for most of the game. The biggest lead was 13, but at the end, Maryland went on a run, and Mountaineers could hit a shot, and Maryland ended up winning. They almost shot 51% in the field. Shot more free throws, almost 6 more free throws. Let's see. That's about it. Don't need to look at the stats for that one. Just unfortunate loss. So my bracket was already, at least one of my brackets was already wrong in the very first game. No biggie there. And then this is one of the bigger upsets: Furman and Virginia. As you all know, Virginia was the first ever 1 seed to lose, and they've been upset yet again against the Furman Paladins. Now, cool story about the Furman Paladins is they have not been in the NCAA tournament since 1980, I think 84, and they have not won one since 1974. So for like 40 years. That's pretty wild. But they did it. This was a really good game. I actually watched this game in full. For most of the game, Virginia was up by about double digits. Just they could never pull ahead because Furman would just start making shots. And that was the big key for Furman, was that they kept it close within 10-ish the whole game, and then they went on a run. Virginia was doing very, very good offensively. Furman was playing man-to-man, and so Virginia was easily able to drive and get to the paint and score. And then Furman changed, I think, at about 9 minutes left, or 5 minutes left, or something like that, into a 1-3-1, which is personally one of my favorite defensive plans for basketball, and it absolutely shut down Virginia. It was forcing them to make shots, which is their weak point. That's how Duke obliterated them in the ACC tournament, is if you make Virginia shoot them outside and defend the paint well, you will beat them, because they are just not a good team. Offensively, like, they cannot score. They're a great defensive team, but if they can't score, they can't win. 3-pointers. Virginia was only 2 of 12. Furman was 10 of 28. That's 30 points to only 6 points right there. You can see they're causing a lot of turnovers. They were playing very, very great. But this game was more of a holy crap, they just won. Because the Furman was up with about 2 minutes left. I think about 6. And then all of a sudden, Virginia goes on this swing, and now they're up by multiple scores. And then Furman comes back a little bit, but Virginia's going to win the game. And then they're pressing, and I think it's Clark is in the right corner in a full court press. And instead of just holding on the ball, letting it be a jump ball, or trying to dribble out of it, or make another pass with another player, he just, off balance, chunks it down the court. Now, what he should have done was chunk it as high as he could, but instead he just tries to throw it to a player down the field and doesn't make it. Furman guy catches it, it goes right to him because he didn't throw it hard enough. One pass to a guy, 3-point shot, bang, they're up by 1 with like 2 seconds left. Cavaliers have to throw a half-court heave, and they miss. Furman wins a game that they really shouldn't have won. But they took it from him, though. Let's be frank. That's all credit to Furman. They took that game from the Cavaliers. However, Virginia should not have lost that game, and they're probably going to feel sick in their stomach for quite a while. Beekman right here had a very, very good game. I feel bad for him because he pretty much carried the team on his back. This guy, Shedrick, although he had 15 points, he had a horrible game. He is just got a lot of room to grow. Very very weak in the paint. He's a big man and he's not very strong with the ball, and he needs to get back on that. Virginia also had their best player, in my opinion. It's this white dude, Vanderlei or whatever. He got hurt in the beginning of the season, and he is a big presence down low. And I feel like if they would have had him all season, they probably could have been a much better team. But poor Virginia. And then if you look at Furman's stat, man, they were shooting lights out. Bothwell, who was their main scorer, actually fouled out of the game early in the second half, and they still ended up winning. This guy had an incredible game. Foster, 4-9 from 3. I think one of these guys, I think it was Slauson, hit his first 3-point shot at the end of the game to win the game. So it's pretty cool. Furman will now be playing. Let's see. I'll show you who they'll be playing. How about that? Howard defeats Kansas. No shot there. A&M Corpus Christi, again, the school I go to, won their first ever March Madness game in the first 4 games, then facing up against Alabama, and they got beat. They actually won a run and got it back within 10, and they played very well, although they got beat by 21 points. I think they played very, very well. This is the reason why they lost. 3-pointers. Alabama was 15 of 33. That is unreal. They were just putting it up left and right. If Alabama, let's say, moved this down to 10, 5 times 3 is 15-point swing, they could have been in this game. I mean, they played it very, very well. Alabama was red hot. I feel like this game was a lot closer than people imagine because of how hot Alabama was from deep. They only had 6 turnovers, which is really impressive. They do tend to turn over the ball a lot, but they only had 6 turnovers. So they played a great game. Alabama, just what are you going to do when they're shooting that hot? Could they upset them? Let's say if Alabama had a bad shooting night and say it was only shooting about 20% from 3, maybe only about 30% from field goal range, A&M would win this game. They played incredible. So all hats off to A&M on a great season. In fact, Brad Miller did not score a single point all game. Their best player, arguably one of the best players in the entire. Let's go to this thing. Tennyson had a great game. He actually did not have a single point at the half, and then went on a splurge at points in the second half. He didn't make a 3-point shot until very late in the game. He played one from about the logo of March Madness. Mushila also had a great game. He had 15 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds. I mean, this guy is a rebounding machine. I think that this game there's a really good exposure for both those players, as I think they are definitely capable of playing professionally overseas. Mushila, as a role player and as a pure rebounder, he reminds me of Dennis Rodman, but a bit better on the offensive side as Dennis Rodman, obviously, and maybe not as purely athletic. Tennyson, he's a great shooter, but I think his true skill set comes in the drive because he's such a great shooter that you have to close out, and then he can drive on you, and he can change directions, and he's very balanced, and he can make really weird shots, and he's a great player. Great player. I think they're both seniors, so it'll be unfortunate to see them go, but I really think that A&M is going to create a dynasty and be back in March Madness for many years to come, and maybe pull off some upsets in the future. Charleston versus San Diego State. This was one of the more popular picks of an upset. Charleston is, I think, the best 3-point shooting team in the entire nation. Only lost maybe like 3 or 4 games in the whole season. San Diego State, however, played great defense on them, and they did not shoot as well. And San Diego State ended up pulling away late. San Diego State is a very dangerous team, though, at the end of it. They have a very, very good defense. Very, very deep. A lot of players that can come in and out, so they don't really get tired. Here is a huge upset. Princeton beating 2-seed Arizona, who probably was a favorite to go to the Elite 8 in a lot of brackets, or even the Final Four. They normally score about 84 points a game. They scored 30 less, and that is actually how Princeton knew they were going to win the game. They can keep the score low and keep them from scoring a lot of points. They had a chance to win, and indeed they did. Arizona could just not hit shots late, and Princeton won a very rough matchup because that's what they wanted. They got it. They won. Kudos to Princeton. We're 9 Illinois versus 8 Arkansas. This 10, honestly, it was Arkansas's game all game long. They had a double-digit lead almost all game. Illinois came back at the end, then Arkansas pulled away. They play very, very good. I think they are a very dangerous team. They're very, very young. If they're playing to their potential, they could beat anyone. They'll be playing number one Kansas next round. However, it's high and low. Either you get a really good Arkansas team or a bad Arkansas team. They could either beat Kansas in the final seconds or lose to Kansas by 30. So we'll see what happens. But a very, very good team. I think they're going to be a very, very, very dangerous team for many years to come. If they can keep their freshmen from going professionally, I think their freshmen should stay. I think Arkansas can create a dynasty in truth. I think they can win a championship in the next couple of years. Number 9, Auburn versus Iowa. This is also a lot closer than it was. Auburn was up, I think, 20 at one point. They were just lights out from 3. Iowa had no chance at all. Again, this was played in Birmingham, Alabama, so this was a home game for them, and it was very, very, very loud. They were just lights out, and they were hitting big-time shots when they needed them, and Auburn just ran away with that one. As we all see, there's already some games going on today, so I'll be covering those. I tried to record this last night and then upload it and have it set to upload at like 10 in the morning, but I was a bit too tired, so we're doing this today. Then my favorite team, who I have picked to go to the championship, 5 seed Duke, who I think is criminally underrated. I think they should be a 3 seed. Demolished Oral Roberts. It wasn't even close the whole game. They were already up by 20, like before the first half ended. I mean, it was unbelievable. Or this actually was. People said that Duke was one of the most likely upsets here because Oral Roberts is a very, very good team. They just got unlucky playing Duke, who was one of the hottest and best teams in the country right now. If they would have played any other team, like Virginia or Tennessee, they would have won. They are a very good team. They 8 of 32, yikes. And they put up 32 shots. Again, they're like one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation. They just were not on fire. They were playing a stifling Duke defense. A lot of tall players, hard to shoot over them. You can't get into the paint. And Duke's is too good for Oral Roberts. I feel like Oral Roberts really got unlucky that Duke was so underseeded. Dariq Whitehead had 13 points off the bench, 3 of 3 for 3-point. He didn't miss, and he was just these were all contested threes, by the way. Jeremy Roach tied his career high for the second game in a row. Calico Pasquale only had 6 points, but was very good on the defensive end of the game. So I feel like Duke can make a deep run here, and they just prove that they are not to be trifled with, and they are not an upset lot. They will be facing Tennessee next game. Number 2, Texas versus 15 Colgate. Colgate came at half. I think it was like a couple. Texas went up on a big lead. Colgate came back in the half, and I think they were only down by 1 point, and then Texas ran away with it. Colgate is either number 1 or number 2 of the best three-point shooting team in the nation. But Texas was on fire from deep. On fire. Let's see. Yeah, they were 13 and 23, 56%. Meanwhile, Colgate was only 20%. Carr had a good game. 4 of 6. He had 17 points. Hunter, it was 2 of 7. You know, I remember in the very beginning of the year, he was one of the potential picks of player of the year. And then it seems like after Chris Beard was fired, it seems like he just really went down in terms of scoring ability and shooting ability. So I think if he can somehow find a way to get back to his preseason form, Texas could be a championship team. Timmy Allen is still out. However, where is he? Jabari Rice has been playing great. He was 7 of 3 from 3-point range. I think he did miss for 5 shots, and he had 23 points. Unbelievable. If this guy continues to shoot like this, I mean, look at this. 10, that's minutes, sorry. 10, 17, and 17, and then 23 off the bench. He also was the 6th man of the year, by the way. So Texas, very dangerous team. However, they will be playing Central Cinderella right here. They'll be playing number 10, Penn State. And Penn State is legit, guys. Let's talk about that in a little bit. Northwestern versus Boise State. Funny enough, my mother and her bracket had Boise State going to like the Sweet 16. So, yikes. 4 seed Tennessee barely scraping by Louisiana by 3 points. Again, they'll be facing number 5 seed Duke. 1 seed Houston, also barely scraping by Northern Kentucky. Both my 2 cousins graduated from this school, and they really came close to beating Houston, but Houston pulled away late. UNC Asheville, who out of all the 15 seeds, people would have said it would have been Asheville to win, not Princeton, but they got smacked by UCLA. And then Penn State smacks A&M, who was the second best team in the SEC this year for the regular season, but they just did not show up, and they got smacked by Penn State. Penn State has one of the best players in the nation right now. Let's see if we can find him. I don't know his name, to be real with you. Let's see. This guy, Pickett, 19 points. He is a force to be reckoned with. If he continues to be on fire, Penn State will be playing Texas. I don't think they'll win. I think they'll keep it close. So a great first round, as I said. Brackets are already busted on the very first day. Brackets were busted right here. After this, this was like in the middle of the day. So before the night games, brackets were already busted, and there was already under 0.0001% brackets remaining. Like, that's crazy. The day, there was still, majority of the games were still being played, and the brackets were already screwed. That's the beauty of March Madness. That's why I love it. That's why I think it's the best sporting event, better than FIFA, better than Super Bowl, the NBA Finals. It's the epitome of Cinderella and underdog stories and unpredictability. And college basketball is the greatest sport there is, period. As we know, there's some other games going on, and we'll see what else we got going on. Maybe some more upsets. I personally think that after today, there will be no more perfect brackets. From the way it's been going, I really think that we're going to have no perfect brackets at the end of the first round. So, hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. That's all I've been doing yesterday, was just watching college basketball. Probably all I'll be doing again today, because I don't want to miss any other potential upsets again.